This is my hydrogen cell. As you can see, I used a tubular design. It has 3 tubes, 1 inner, 1 middle, 1 outer. Originally it started out as 2. As you can see, once I get it in the picture. There are 3 cylinders. The center cylinder is separated from the middle cylinder by an 1/8 inch gap, and the outer is separated from the center by a 1/16 inch gap. Originally I wanted it to be uniform with an 1/8 inch gap all over, both gaps, but pipe sizing was a trick, and upon further testing I think I am abandoning the tube design and going to a plate design like the Aaron cell. He has a very good cell. That's actually who Hydrogen Tap is the one that got me started into this. And as you can see, I have glued onto this a 4-inch clean out cap with the vent already ported on the top. I do like this design a lot because it makes it real easy for all the vapors to flow straight up through the top. I have noticed a peculiar phenomenon though that I would like to show you. Now originally I only had two tubes, 1 center and 1 outer. And what I had noticed on my first testing with that cell was that when the positive was in the center, which would be this one, I got plenty of bubbles. But when it was on the outer, I got none. Very, very little. So I'd like to show you this test. This is with the positive on the center and outer, with the negative plate in the middle at 40 amps. As you can see, it produces an adequate amount of bubbles. I added the 3rd plate because I wanted to increase the bubble production, but what I've found is I've seen no increase in bubble production. That is the same amount of bubbles that I got with just the inner 2, with the positive in the center and the negative in the middle. Now, to show you what my dilemma was, I'm going to switch them. And again, this is at 40 amps. And as you can see, hardly any bubbles. I am at a loss for why this is happening. If there's somebody out there who is a genius or a physics scientist, maybe they can explain to me why, ignore the outer 3rd tube, but when I put the negative to the center tube, in this case it's the center and the outer, I get very little bubbles. But when I put the positive to the center and the outer, I get adequate amount for my first hydrogen cell design. I really like the tubular design because it saves space, but I do think I will have another round of cell designs in the works. So, if anybody out there can tell me why this phenomenon occurs with the polarity switch, I would love to understand. My guess is it might have something to do with the mass of the metal. For instance, the center pipe has less metal than the middle pipe. Ignore the third pipe for now because it did nothing, absolutely nothing. I put the third pipe on, and eventually I might try a design with 4 tubes so that I can go positive, negative, but until then I think I am going to abandon the tube idea unless maybe I switch to a thinner tube design. As you can see, these tubes are rather thick. They are 1/8 inch thick aluminum. I know a lot of people are using stainless, and I'm kind of curious as if anyone out there has came across any recordable differences between metals in hydrogen cell designs. I don't know. Basically, just you can post a comment and I will get back with you. And before I go, I'll go ahead and switch the polarity one more time so you can see the bubbles. And as you can see, immediately bubbles are produced when the center tube has the positive charge. And as we know, hydrogen comes off the negative plate, oxygen off the positive. So, if anyone out there has anything that might help me with this peculiar occurrence, please post a comment. I do like the way this looks though. As you can see, I've used aluminum, which has virtually, it looks brand new, and I've had hours and hours of testing on this. So, as you can see, I have isolated the center one using nylon screws, bolts, and washers. If I can get a good look, you can see how that looks. I used the heads on some of them as the spacers. There are no protrusions in the middle tube, no holes. The only thing that holds that in place are the heads of these washers, the heads of these bolts, and that bolt right there, which is also fastened to my conductor lead, which comes down, touches the outer right there, and I've got it all the way down just so it makes good contact, which actually this third outer ring hasn't really provided me with much benefit, so I'm either going to abandon the third tube, or I do have room to place another tube, which I might try. But I'm still baffled by the polarity question. If anyone out there has any ideas, please let me know. Until next time, this has been my hydrogen cell.